I have a confession to make. I don't like compressors. Or more accurately, I don't use compressors and I don't have one on my pedal board. So it would be completely ridiculous for me to review a compressor pedal that's just been released. Or would it? Hello, fellow guitar geeks. My name is Andy, and this is the Mira Optical Compressor from Walrus Audio. If we take a look at it, you'll see that it is not a simple compression pedal. It has more than just sustain and volume. It's got all the things that you'd expect from a studio compressor. And quite frankly, that scares me a little bit, because even though I use these exact settings in my post-production compressors, as I've said, I don't use them on my guitar on the pedal board, and I think it would be inauthentic of me. Inauthentic? Unauthentic? It would be dishonest of me to say, here's the new pedal from Walrus Audio, let's check it out, here are the top 5 tones, and here's what it does, and here's how much it costs, and should you buy it, should you not? That would be completely dishonest, because I'm not a compressor user. However, I can use this video as an opportunity to change, to grow, to learn, to break out of my comfort zone, and I offer for you to come with me. In this video, I'm going to be mainly using this, the new George Harrison Rocky Strat from Fender that I purchased recently and I've kind of fallen in love with. Video coming soon. I'm going through the Fender Deluxe Reverb and some vintage V30s. The only things going between the guitar and the amp is the Mira Compressor and the Skysurfer Mini Reverb from TC Electronic. Now, compression can be difficult to understand, so I'm going to run through what the different knobs and switches do. First up, let's start with something the most easy. This foot switch here turns the pedal on and off, and that LED tells us whether the pedal is off or on. Wonderful, good start. Now, on next, the level. The level is the volume of the pedal, the master volume, and it's at the end. So with it turned all the way down, nada. And then like this. As we increase the level, we increase the volume just like on any regular volume knob. Over here is the blend. At the moment it's set to 50-50. Another word for it would be mix. All the way this side would be no compressed signal. All the way this side would be only compressed signal. Now if you listen carefully, you might have heard that sound fatten up a little bit. And without it, it's a bit more jangly. I hope you're wearing headphones, by the way. Please wear headphones or at least some decent speakers. If you're listening on your smartphone, on a train or something, on a plane or in any kind of automobile, then you probably won't get the benefits of these sounds. Let's talk about these knobs here. I will quickly define the features of a compressor, and please pay attention to this LED, because when that lights up, it means compression's happening. It's currently off. It's bright in my studio. Let me just turn that camera a little bit darker so you can really see it. Right, so that's the LED off. Can you see it just popping through like that? We'll bring that back up, but not quite as much, just so we can get a little bit of a darker setting to see that LED. So the threshold knob allows you to set the volume point at which the compressor engages. So all the way up here, and don't forget, pay attention to the LED. Nothing happening. Bring it down to about there, you'll start to see that LED light up. There we go. And if I have that all the way down, it's going to be pretty much LED on all the time. Right, so that threshold is when the compressor kicks in. The ratio is how much compression kicks in. The least amount of compression is just there, so we've got a fairly high threshold. The ratio all the way up will give us a 20-to-1 ratio. And then bringing that threshold all the way down and the ratio all the way up will give us the most compressed sound. I don't think that sounds good, but it also doesn't sound loud. Now, that doesn't sound good to my ears, but it also sounds quieter. So if we bring the makeup up, that gives us back the more volume. The volume is taken away by the compressor, bringing those waveforms down in volume. It gives a real poppy kind of sound. Now, we can look at these attack and release controls. The attack is how quickly the compressor reacts. So right down here, the compressor is going to react instantly, or pretty much instantly, and therefore there's going to be nothing let through that isn't compressed. Bring that attack all the way up, it's going to let some uncompressed sound through first. And then the release is how long that compression lasts for before it turns itself off again. So with these extreme settings, I'll play something with the compressor on, then turn it off and play the same thing, and you'll hear the difference. Now with these extreme settings, this is how one probably shouldn't use a compressor, and it certainly isn't my favorite way to use them. So I'm going to use it a little bit differently. So we've got the makeup gain. I'm going to put everything there. I'm going to take the blend back a little bit as well, and just for argument's sake, we're going to have the release about halfway, and the attack I'm going to let some notes through first. So that's a sort of what I would call maybe there actually what I would call a subtle compression. So let's try these settings and watch the LED for when the compressor's actually kicking in. Try the mix at full. It's ridiculous for me to say, but this is one of those pedals that needs to be felt. I'm not sure if you can hear it. Like, I'm hearing a difference, but I'm really feeling the difference when I play. That I think is the key to a good compressor and a good compressor setting, is that if you really dime those knobs, you're going to get a sound like that funky kind of really clicky sound and poppy sound that I was getting earlier. I liked that. But if you do that setting and you try and play something a bit more, something with a bit more bluesiness and a bit more expression, then I think you lose too much of those dynamics. And using that blend knob there really helps me get in a good compressor setting. So hang on, this is how I would set it. I would set it with the blend knob at maximum and then find a nice sound and then back off the blend until you almost can't hear it and then bring it back again. I like that. Right, there's one thing I haven't talked about, and that is this little switch on the side, which is a side chain high-pass filter. And you engage it by pressing it in like that, and what this does is allows anything that's below 120 Hz, so those bass frequencies, to come through the compressor unaltered. And anything above 120 Hz is going to activate that compressor. So those low notes can come through fairly unaltered, and those high notes get compressed, meaning that for bass players, you can have these low rumblies, and they'll come through nicely, but anything that's popped and slapped, patang, that's going to get compressed, so giving you a more even signal. So that the popping and the slapping on a bass is generally more aggressive and therefore louder. So this is going to tame those bass frequencies nicely. As a guitar player, it means something different because the low E string and the low A string are both below 120 Hz, and 120 Hz is somewhere between the 2nd fret on the A and the 3rd fret on the A. I've set the ratio a little higher, so we've got a stronger compression. I've set the ratio a little lower, so we've got more of the compression. And the blend I'm going to put up to the max. We've got none of that original signal coming through. Attack is lower, so it should be a quicker compression. And I've got a better midway release. So let's find out if it works and what it does to the sound. So I'm going to play anything up to the 7th fret on the E string or 2nd fret on the A string is below 120 Hz, thereabouts. So it should not engage the compressor so much, the fundamental at least. And then I'm going to play something up there, and it should compress. So this is high pass filter off. High High pass filter engaged. Right, I can really hear that making a difference. Can you hear that making a difference? So my riffs when I'm... it's weaker. That's cool. So even on guitar, I would probably have that pushed in a little bit to make sure that my low end is nice and tight. Turning it off again. Yeah, that's a big difference. Okay, I've never done that with a compressor before. I'm sure there are other compressor pedals. Well, what I'm saying is I don't think this is the only compressor pedal with a high-pass filter in the sidechain, but I've never heard a difference made like that before. I think I'm coming around to compression. Not such an extreme setting. I think this pedal, it's hard to say pedal sometimes. I think this pedal is it's an always-on feeling pedal. Yes, the Mira is an always-on feeling pedal. I've now plugged in an SD1 because we need to hear it with some drive tones, but I want to have something subtle, so this isn't doing too much compressing. We've got the Mira, then the SD1, then the reverb, then the amp. So let's try SD1 without compression first. Bit of compression. Now, to my ears, it sounds better. It sounds that there's a fuller drive coming through, but it's also more defined, more clear. There's more clarity. It's fatter, but also sparklier. That's weird. And yeah, that last note has more sustain, of course. Actually, the first time I came across a compressor pedal was when I was watching a covers band playing some Gary Moore stuff, and I had no idea how this guitar player was getting his note to last so long. And at the end of the show, I went up and asked him, because that's what we do as guitar geeks. We ask the people that use the gear what their gear is. And I said, the Gary Moore stuff sounded amazing. How did you get that sustain? And he was using a Boss compressor sustainer and, yeah, compressor. So I've kind of been searching for that tone a little bit, but now I'm hearing it. My ears have matured a little bit. I think I was only like 20, something like that back then, and I couldn't hear the difference. And it was live, of course. I could only hear those last notes. And now I'm hearing it. So I've used compressors before, but they've always been a bit too extreme with not enough control. And I like a lot of control because I don't want to have the pedal have so much control. Does that make sense? Okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm convinced. Okay, let's summarize a little bit. Now, the Mira is €249 thereabout, which is a bit more expensive than Walrus audio pedals have been. This format of pedal, they're normally about $199. So the Mira is coming in a bit more expensive, and I don't know if that's a sign of the times or if this is genuinely a more expensive pedal to build. I don't know, but what I will say is that if I'm going to use compression, I'm going to have this level of control over the sound. So the attack and release, I need that. I can't have that trusted to a pedal as far as I'm concerned. I need to be able to tweak, which is why I kind of wish these weren't mini knobs. I'd rather have had two bigger knobs just down here, which might be, just me because my big sausage fingers can't really get in there, and I'd have trouble if I was mid-set trying to do that, because if you can see, as I turn that, I'm also turning the level knob, and I did it earlier in the video, I noticed. So sorry about that, but I would rather have these knobs, big knobs, quite like the big ones. And the side high-pass filter is phenomenal. I've never seen that on a compressor pedal before, which might be just because I'm not that experienced with compressor pedals. I think that's a very, very welcome addition. I'm not going to be using bass in this video because my bass is currently broken. But I think if you're a bass player, definitely that's going to work. If you're a baritone player, of course, absolutely. And as a guitar player, I like that little bit of difference it makes. It's a whole other world when you switch it off and on again. Should you purchase it? Well, only you can decide, but I can tell you that if you have around €250 and you're looking for a very controllable compressor, then the Mira should definitely be on your list. I have little to no complaints about it, apart from the fact that I think that you guys are going to say, I didn't hear any difference because it's not a DS1. Which I kind of agree with, but it's these small little things. And if you're playing anything like John Mayer or Andy Timmons or something like that, then a compressor is almost necessary. I'm going to be trying it on my board. I'm not fully converted, but what I am enjoying is I'm enjoying the release, the sustain on the end of the notes, because I play a Strat in my band at the moment. I find that I end up using too much gain on my drive pedals because I'm looking for that longer note, that sustain. And maybe rather than having more drive, I should be having a compressor or different pickups. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. This is the end of the video, which means you're in the end of the video club. And to prove that you are a member of this prestigious elite, when you leave a comment down below telling me what you think of the Mira and compression in general, please also include the phrase, "Mira, Mira, on the wall, who's the geekiest of them all?" And that'll let me know that you watched this part, and I will giggle, and YouTube will like me for it. Thank you for doing that. Also, drop a thumbs up if you've enjoyed yourself or if you've learned something. That helps mightily. Finally, I need to say thank you to Walrus Audio for sending out the pedal for review. I am a bit of a fanboy, so take that into account when judging my views on the pedal. If you fancy some more, there are videos right over there. Otherwise, there's a subscribe button down there. Smash that very. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.